Alva Sequencer, the free version of Alva Sorcerer, provides ETC Eos theatrical lighting consoles with sequence-based editing by allowing Blender's video editor to remotely manage and create console event lists and macros through automation. To make a cue, you just hit O and hit M, and then switch it to Q, either with the C key. So if we were in Flash, we would just hit C, or we would just tap that. Up here you type in 1 / 1 for Q list 1 1. This button here is just go to Q out or ghost out. That refreshes everything inside this builder here, and this records the cue, and then this records the timing of the cue based on the strip duration. Okay, these colors up here, these are just there for artistic purposes in order to show you which colors are primarily in which cue. So if you had like an orange and teal thing, you would have like blue and then orange, right? These faders here, or these sliders, are controlled by groups right here. So right now it's controlling group 28, the key light is. That's my key light right there. I'll ghost out to show you better. So that's my key light, and I can set it to a preset by just pressing that button. And you record presets by just hitting record. That activates record mode. Set it to whatever you want over here, and then just hit whatever preset you want to record. And when you're done, you just disable record mode. So this one is group 3. That's my rim light, my fill light, my background light. You can also set this to be more conducive for scenarios where you're using a conventional zip strip that doesn't have its own color, that only has color with 4 channels with separate color gobos. So you can go into settings and check this. It says using gels for site color. Then that switches that over to 4 intensities, which would then be your colors in order to mix colors with gels. But we're going to go back into normal mode. Then we have texture. So all these are basically the same. The only difference is the label in the UI. And then these colors here are basically the exact same thing as these. They don't do anything differently. It's just a different way of displaying them, that's all. Down here you have effects, or one channel, or one group, or one list of groups. You can do list of groups as well. So 17, 19. What this does is, that's like if you have one specific channel or one specific group that is typically responsible for effects, like absolute effects, chase effects, stuff like that, you can just press a button and have it go to whatever effect you want. You can see I just activated that effect. I only have one effect in the scene right now. So I can turn that off right there with the X button, or I can turn it back on and have that right there. And you have your intensity, and you also have your speed control to make it go fast right there. Super convenient. Right. So next thing to go over is the strip length. Yeah, so bring up the formatter. I'm going to make it longer. If we want this strip to have an effect on the duration, the input, the end timing, we just hit M and hit the OR button, and that sets the timing of the cue. So now we can hit Shift G or Shift Spacebar in order to reload the scene, and Shift G to ghost out, and we'll see that. And we can make it even longer if we wanted to. And all we have to do is hit that button and Shift Spacebar to reload the scene. There we go. All right, so a common problem that happens when you're using a visual sequence-based editor, like a nonlinear editor like this, for queue building, what happens is you might be working over here on these strips over here on some kind of effect or animation or something, and in order for these strips to make sense, you have to have a different queue fired that might be over here. And when you're working on these queues, you need that queue to be fired. But when this queue fires right here, that might erase everything that queue does. So what happens is you have to constantly scroll back, way back into the sequence just to get that queue to fire. And it's really annoying. It wastes a lot of time. And so what Sorcerer and Sequencer does is we have a live map feature. You just enable it and hit OK. And what live map does is if you hit play from over here, it will just automatically fire this queue here. So what this queue does is, let's go to queue out. That's what that queue does. So if in order for this stuff to make sense over here, you need to have those lights up for whatever reason. And if you were to go to queue out over here, whether that was achieved by one of these queues or whatever, when you have live map enabled, if you hit play, it's just going to automatically play this queue for you because it's the most recent queue. So it just fired that queue right there. We're in queue 5, go to queue out, hit play. Now we're back into queue 5. So that's what live map does.